Hey, Brandon. This is Brandon Bruckman. He's actually a registered investment advisor, right? So this is a little bit different than someone who's simply a capital raiser and joins as a co-GP. So he can get paid by his clients as not a co-GP. So I'm excited to hear from Brandon and see what he's up to. So Brandon, take it away.
Hi, and thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Also introverted and also afraid to talk. No, I'm kidding. It's
Nice.
fine.
Nice.
No, it's all
But
good. Yeah, and that's a great lead in because I think this will be a little bit different from what we've talked about previously. So give me a second here, and I do have a presentation that I do want to share with y'all. Someone say yes.
yes, I can see it now.
All right, we got to go back because I was reading this before. So yes, as you mentioned, I am a registered investment advisor, and I'm going to talk about syndications, which in and at itself is something pretty strange. Your first thought here might be, did this guy get lost? What is he doing here? Why are you talking about this? Shouldn't you go back to selling stocks and giving financial advice? Why are you talking about syndication? So I want to share a little bit about what we're about and what we can do on syndications and discuss that. And first and foremost, I want to discuss what a registered investment advisor is, anyways, because this is a very common item that's very confusing for a lot of folks, and they don't understand how different professionals play in this space. So first and foremost, a registered investment advisor, as an RIA, as we're referred to, I am a fiduciary for our clients. So here's another word that what the heck does that mean, a fiduciary? By law, I have to do what's in my client's best interest, which means I technically don't sell them anything. I give them advice, I do what's in their best interest, and I have to do that. That is very different than a financial broker or a financial advisor. Very similar terms, very different people. Folks acting in a broker capacity, and these are your Edward Jones of the world, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, they do not have to do what's in your best interest. Investors really don't know that very often when I describe this. Instead, what they have to do for you is what's suitable. So this is a big difference, right? And so my requirement with our clients is extremely high. Our regulatory thresholds and bars and our exams and audits, they're extremely intense, right? And so it puts us at a higher standard of suitability for our investors. It is different, and we like it. I embrace that. I want to do what's in our investors' best interest. So to me, it's not even a thought process. Of course, I want to be an RIA. So a little bit of background. That's what we do, and I want to discuss too what it is that we do, because it is wide, it is diverse, it is beyond stocks and bonds, it is beyond real estate too that we're looking at, and then finally, the most important point. I want to spend more time here of talking about how we work with syndicators and syndications. And then how maybe that you can look at RIAs too and not maybe overlook financial professionals when you're making capital raises. So, okay, who the heck am I and why am I talking to you? I work with a firm and I'm a co-founder and partner with Insight Investment Advisors. I'm based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's the skyline that you see behind me. My partner, Josh Wright, is based in Kansas City. We'll let you decide which city is better. The answer is Milwaukee. But what we do and what we're really focused on is we're helping real estate investors that run their properties, farmers, business owners. We're really helping them retire, right? And they're going through this transition period, and very few of them know about the options that are available to them to optimize their tax situation and earn passive income. So I'll describe that briefly and what that means. We do keep traditional investing clients as well. That's my background and basis. I don't come at real estate from a real estate background at all. So I was very much a newbie 5-6 years ago, and I had to learn this business too. I have a leg up. I spent a lot of time at a very large hedge fund, $15 billion in management. I walked through the financial crisis. I spent a ton of time with distressed mortgages and that entire industry. If you ever seen the movie The Big Short, I lived The Big Short, and it was horrible. It was not the good end of it. It was the really rough end of it. It was a very scary time. But of course, I learned a ton about how capital works, how money flows, and really the inside baseball that a lot of us don't see. So that's the help that I can bring, or the experience that I bring to this space, and the way that we sort of look at deals and all investments has that sort of eye to it. Very much a risk mitigation sort of thought process. That's me and my family. That's me with a beard. You can decide which way I look better, beard or no beard. Don't drop that in the comments. So what do we do on syndications in particular? the first and foremost thing that we work with and customers that we work with, they're all looking to do typically a 1031 exchange. So we're helping them walk through that and what that means. If you don't know what a 1031 exchange is, that's okay. Not important for today's presentation. What will help them do, though, is to get passive. And I will talk about this a little bit later of how the instruments that we help them do that. But the biggest thing in where we add value is performing the due diligence on these investments. So we'll do that on the syndications. We will pull those apart in every single detail. The last presenter referred to, talking to engineers about investments. If you think they're interested in numbers, hold my beer, because we really want to dig into the details and understand every aspect of the particular deals we're looking at working on. That's where we add the most value. The biggest instrument that we use to help these investors in a 1031 exchange, again, is something you may not have heard of, is a Delaware statutory trust. And again, your head may be spinning. What is he talking about? A Delaware statutory trust, just think of it this way, very simply. It's another form of syndication that the IRS has deemed as replacement property in a 1031 exchange. So for the investor, it's just like buying property, except they get to be a passive investor, very much like an LP. So it's a huge advantage for someone who is looking to get out of active real estate and to get into passive real estate and do the 1031 exchange. You can do all of this at the same time with this investment, right? It is very different than a lot of the deals that you're probably looking at from a syndication perspective and looking for investors. Not a value add component here. Very traditional, very institutional based sort of assets. That's sort of what we're looking at when we look at Delaware Statutory Trust. But I wanted to give you an introduction to it because it's where we spend a lot of our time, and it's sort of our introduction to syndication. How does that process work? We will, again, take people through 1031, work with them to identify these Delaware Statutory Trust investments, do that due diligence, and help them close. If you have investors there in 1031 exchanges and they're struggling or need to do a 1031, we are a great resource for this. We have investments readily available. They can ID in a day. We can close in a week. It is a very quick process. So I want to describe that to you a little bit, but here's what I really wanted to spend some time with. The investors that we have that go through the 1031 process, that go through the exchange, we'll complete that process for them. And it's great, and where everyone's happy, yay. The next question they ask us is, what other investments do you guys have? I got 100, 200K, I got $500,000. What else do you guys do? It's like, well, we do look at syndications. I'm an LP investor in a variety of syndications, and so are our clients. So we look at these in various different ways. One, of course, is the 1031 exchange, the DST. We'll also look at tenant in common deals. Those can work with 1031 exchanges as well, and that's always an option. So if that's an option in your deal structure, we're very interested in that. Obviously, we're interested in LPs. If we have excess cash, our investors just love great deals. I'm 100% agnostic to where the returns come from. I want great deals, risk management, awesome sponsors. That's all I really want, right? So that's a way that we interact. We also interact with syndicators as a variety of ways to partner with them to acquire. So for example, we have some syndicators in the Midwest that approach us when they're looking to purchase a property and to start a deal. To say, hey, I'm trying to buy this building. Can you work with the seller to help them think about what to do with the proceeds once they sell? They need help in thinking about how to transition out of this property. We can be a tremendous resource in helping syndicators secure deals and buy properties. So we play that game as well. And then, as I mentioned too, we'll also play this game a bit if your clients need an exit plan and they have no way out. So we've watched some syndicators do a little bit more complicated strategies with their LPs to help them perform 1031 exchanges. And we're here to help you do that as well. So that's sort of our role with syndicators. And then finally on this side, I believe RIA is a channel for you. And so I think traditionally what I've seen, I'll spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, I spend a lot of time with the people that are in this room. I know some of the names on here. I think the RIA community has been ignored in this space in terms of raising capital. And I understand why. I still think there's people here that are like us. I don't think we're the only ones that want great deals for their clients and want to produce returns outside of stocks. And so we're here for that. So there's a couple different ways I think that you can interact with RIAs. Number one for us is becoming a sponsor of Delaware Statutory Trust. And we watch some syndicators do this and make a transition from doing LPs, GP-LP relationships, to looking at this different structure. And they've been successful in doing that. Last year, this industry did $9 billion in capital raising. There's money out there to be had, and there's a vacuum of sponsors that aren't great. We need more great sponsors in this space. That's something that we can help you do. And so if some of you are interested, please connect with us. Generally speaking, across whatever deal structure that you have, just be a great sponsor. That's who we're looking for. We're looking for folks with great experience. We're looking at the scorecard first and foremost. Are you producing returns for your investors? Are they awesome? Great. Do you have an awesome team? I've heard some of the folks prior talk about team. That's great. If you built an amazing team around you, I want to see that, right? If you are a great sponsor, myself and other RIAs are going to want to engage with you. It's what we're looking for. And then ultimately, if there are ways in your GPLP structure to work in a tenant in common agreement, that's something that I think I would be interested in, and other RIAs as well would be interested in that structure as an alternative to DST and a way for our clients to get, we feel, more economics in the great deals that you guys are doing from a GPLP perspective. It could be very, very attractive to us. So again, I think there's a variety of ways for you to work with people like us, and we'd welcome it. We want more great sponsors. Ultimately, hey, I really would like to hear from you. Please, a couple different ways. Feel free to reach out. I do run a podcast called The Retiring Real Estate Investor that I know some of you in the chat have been on. Love to interview you. If you are a great sponsor, come on down. Please subscribe and listen, of course, and then make a connection. So there's a variety of people in this space that we're able to help with their clients. CPAs, a lot. Commercial real estate brokers, huge. And frankly, other investment advisors, if you know them as well, that aren't well versed in real estate, please send them my way. We want to help them and get them started in this space as well. That's all I got.
Awesome. I think that's really, really great, and great presentation, and good to know that you're looking for great sponsors. And I love that how you said, be a great sponsor and you're open to join hands, and people, please feel free to reach out. I think it was a good presentation, and I do have one question in the Q&A for you. So the question is, how do you typically meet and vet syndication teams who have opportunities for your clients?
LinkedIn. To be honest, it's been the primary source of the way that I've connected with a variety of sponsors and syndicators is really through LinkedIn. So yeah, please reach out to me. We review almost everything that hits our desk. We have a team of 3 folks on our analyst side that I just toss stuff at them and say, hey, go through the basics here, and let's try to review this stuff and run the due diligence to ground. So yeah, please reach out to me.
Awesome, Brendan. And I was asking if she say, can I interview you on my podcast, Passive Income Adventures?
I love the name. I will say yes, purely based on the name of that podcast. That is perfect, because this is an adventure, 100%.
Awesome. Really good stuff, Brendan. We really appreciate you being with us today. And people, please feel free to reach out and connect with him and learn about DST if you're not in that space. That's a really good option other than the syndications. And once again, thanks, Brendan. Okay,
Brandon, make sure to add your contact info. Somebody said that they didn't have it.
Yeah,
I'll drop it in the chat. And thank you, Ruben. I had to email Ruben yesterday and be like, what do you want me to talk about, man?
I'm like, anything that has to do with RIAs and raising capital, I think it's a very nebulous kind of space. People are not informed about, how do I work with RIAs? What is an RIA? How do I partner with them? How do they get paid? Do I bring them on as the co-GP? They just don't get it. So I think you shed a great deal of light on that. I really appreciate you. Mm-hmm. So man, great presentation. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Ruben. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's one more question before you go, Brendan. Quick one. What about 721 exchange? I don't know what that is.
That's not a quick question. That's going to take forever to explain. What they're talking about is a 721 UPREIT, and that's another portion of the tax code. So we'll watch what a REIT can do, a real estate investment trust, is they can buy your property and offer you shares of that REIT in exchange. And that's a tax-free transaction. There are pros and cons to that. It is an item that's also in the DST or Delaware Statutory Trust space, where those sponsors will have you invest in a Delaware Statutory Trust, then their REIT will buy it. And so there are advantages there for diversification, and then there are disadvantages in that you're locked into that sponsor forever. So whenever you want to touch that capital again, you're going to have a tax event. So it's a thing. It's a real thing. It can be beneficial for investors, but there's pros and cons there as well. We'll play in that space too.
Thanks. I think that's a good one. Thanks, Brendan. People, show him some love. It was excellent, excellent presentation. Yes, please, more love to Brendan. Thanks again, Brendan.
Thank you. Take care, guys.